Good morning, everybody. What is up? It's Dr. Vibe here. It is the Morning Vibe on September 2nd. Yes, September 2nd. Where has the summer gone? It's gone. It's gone. But we are still here. New month, but still great conversations on the Morning Vibe. My name is, again, Dr. Vibe, co-host and co-producer of the Morning Vibe, and also I am the co-host and co-producer of the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. I also am a two-time Canadian Ethnic Media Association Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award, 2018 Innovation Award winner. And as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. So good morning to everybody. I see there's people already in the house, so let's get our shout outs in. All right, Financial Q Cam. Actually, I told Financial Q Cam about our guest, our friend that's going to be here today, and she watched it and says, I've got to learn more from Wayne Harris. So just wanted to set some things up. This is the first Friday of the month, and every first Friday of each month going for the rest of the year, we have Wayne Harris coming on talking about finances, everything from life insurance, investments, etc. So please drop in your questions. Please drop in your comments because we want you to. So let's bring the man up, Wayne Harris. Known him, I think, at least 30 years now. And actually, I was at an event last Sunday, and gentleman said, yeah, I remember you, Dr. Vibe, and I remember Wayne Harris from Each One Teach One days. And it was a Paul Juror, I think his name is. And he said, yeah, you guys were doing great work then. I said, well, it hasn't stopped. So that's why we're still here. So welcome, Wayne. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Fantastic, Dr. Vibe. How are you?
Blessed, highly favored, magnet for miracles, solution for someone's problem, and Black Alicious. And look at people already piling in here. Good morning, Naked Property with Osai. Good morning. And Lyle Leave. I hope I got it pronounced right. If I did, Live Lending Group. Let's go. So see that, Wayne? They want you to take off.
I'm loving it. I'm loving the vibe. Listen, I'm here in Montréal, La Belle Provence, and butchering the French language on a daily basis. But I'm out here with my son, and we're eating good food, and just out there practicing my grade 4 French.
Grade 4? I got to grade 13.
Yeah, well, it's a thing. It's a thing for me. Are you getting me clear? It looks like there's a little bit of lag on my side.
There's a little bit of lag on your end, but nothing too, and I'll just tell everyone, anyone who does things like this, most people will tolerate bad video, but they won't tolerate bad audio. So your audio is good. Your audio is good. So good that's stuff. The most important thing. So definitely looking forward to another conversation with you. And yeah, frequency event, promotions, good day. Ryan's not with us, but he's gonna, and all people are already saying, bonjour, Wayne.
Hey, bonjour. Comment ça va?
And frequency says, how is it going in Wayne's world?
Excellent. As you know, it's always excellent in Wayne's world. Listen, I want to tell you this platform you have and what we're doing here is by the people, for the people. And we want to make
Yep.
sure that people get value from what I'm doing here today. And I appreciate you for having this facility in place and doing it as well as you've been doing it for as long as you've been doing it. And I'm just glad to be a part of it. So today, I just want to ask the people who are chiming in, I want to ask them a couple of questions, and you can relay them back to me. So when I
Sure.
say the word investing, what does it mean to you? Let's see what they say. When I say the word investing, what does it mean to you?
Okay.
And let's see
So
what comes back.
yes. So people who are live, definitely we want this to be a co-creative interactive. So Wayne is asking, when he says the word investing, what does that mean to you? So you know what? I'll wait for other people. I'll jump in. I'll just put in some content out there. That means how can I put it? Planning and building for the future.
Okay.
Because here's an answer right here. Buildings one self financially, internally, and externally.
Mm-hmm.
Naked Property Little Side says Bitcoin and stocks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all good answers. What I'm going to look at is I want to look at it a little more holistically.
Sure.
Is first of all, the first thing you need to do is invest in yourself. And many people, believe it or not, don't believe they're worthy of investing in themselves. So you can take courses, you can read books, you can get mentorship, you can get coaching, you can go to therapy. You're investing in yourself. First person you need to take care of when you're on an airport, on an airplane, and the mask drop, they say the first thing you need to do is put the mask on yourself. So the first thing you need to do is invest in yourself. Then once you invest in yourself, you can start looking at all the other things around you that make up your life. So you can invest in your spiritual world, have your relationship with whatever it is you believe in, right? Many people have different beliefs. You want to invest in that. Next thing you want to look at is maybe investing in relationships, right? And the relationship with yourself is the first and most important relationship. And from that, all other relationships will stem. You can't love other people more than you love yourself. And that's been proven over time. I'm not a therapist, but
Neither am I.
I've been married 30 years, so I know a little bit about
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
That
Thank you.
we and also on this platform we celebrate Black love.
Thank you. You know, it makes sense. Makes sense. I know a little bit about Black love. And then there's health, investing in your health. So you see people, they're making a lot of money, but they can't enjoy it because they are chronic illnesses and acute illnesses, and they can't enjoy themselves. So without health, there's no wealth. So you definitely have to make sure you are healthy and doing the things to give yourself longevity. So when you get to my age and beyond, you're in great health. And that's something I'm working on a daily basis. My son reminded me last night.
Okay.
Then you want to look at investing in people. So you can invest in people. Sometimes people have a great idea and they just don't know how to execute on it. And that's why they come to shows like yours, because you're investing in people. Your mission is to bring ideas for the diaspora, to the diaspora, for the diaspora. And, you know, I don't think you'll ever stop doing it. I think we'll be here 50 years from now, putting in our false teeth and having conversations on Financial First Fridays.
I'm speaking it. You know what? Interesting. I'm just going to start from them because there's a lot of comments coming in. I want you to see them. So, you know, Sophia, thanks, Sophia. Grand Rising. Live Lending Group says giving money with an expectation of return or profit.
Nice.
Frequency, nourishment of building the body, mind, and character.
Mm-hmm.
Fitnance Cam says investing, able to make my money work for me and give me back time. Sophia means making money while you sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Live Lending Group, health is wealth. Fitnance Q Cam says indeed health is wealth. So you got a family that's arm in arm with you this morning, my brother.
Beautiful. So let's look at investing from a cultural perspective. So our parents taught us a lot about what we do today. If your parents banked at RBC, you probably bank at RBC. If your parents banked at TD, you bank at TD, and so on and so forth. As you get older and you start getting more savvy with your own information and own knowledge, you may spread out and go to things like Tangerine. And for the Americans on here, I'm giving some Canadian examples, but we have, you have Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Citigroup and all the different banks that you have in the US. Wachovia, if they're still around, I can't remember if they got wiped out during the .com. But we do what we see. And in the Caribbean Black community and in the African Black community, Americans pipe in if you're here, let me know. We do something called SUSU partner meeting. And they all mean the same thing. Basically, I don't know who was the first person to get ripped off, but somebody heard from somebody's cousin's brother with a friend who was walking backwards uphill who said that they put their money in the bank and the bank manager came back and said, you didn't put any money in here, and they lost their money. And they went, what? I put my money in. They had no recourse, and they decided that they were going to start investing among each other. And I wouldn't say start investing. I'll say start saving. The difference between saving and investing your money is compounding. Saving your money is basically safely stored, but not really earning any real return. So SUSU partner meeting, fantastic way to force the discipline of saving, because there is no return on the money. You don't make any money with SUSU partner meeting, but you can save money for saving. People listen. I know people who bought houses with that methodology, people who bought cars, people who went on vacations, people who sent money back to their families back home, wherever back home was for them, using that methodology. And it has been brilliant and has been used for hundreds of years, okay, in different cultures in different ways. And it's still being used today. So I'm speaking to my people, my melanated people, and I'm asking you, please, it might be time to do away with SUSU. If you have the discipline to give the money to your banker every week, whatever your hand is, $100 hand, $200 hand, and you're buying multiple hands, so you're giving $200 or $400 every week for a number of weeks to get back that money when your hand comes to you to do something with it. I implore you to use the Canadian banking system and the guarantees that come with it. Canadian Deposit Insurance Corporation, up to $100,000 will insure your investment. And if you need your money, it's going to be tough, excuse me, for someone to say that when you have your receipt and your online statements and everything else that you have today that you didn't have back in the day, to say that you didn't put this money in here and it's not your money, because you're going to get a receipt at the transaction. And you can hold on to that paper receipt, or you have an online receipt, and you can bring that back and show them evidence and an audit trail that the money was put in there. So the fear that we had back in the day, I understand, is still there for some people, but it shouldn't be. And I want to, and I'm not I work with the banks. I'm not repping any bank here today, but I'm saying that the banks for saving is the best place for your money. And the reason I say this is because we're in a demographic shift right now where you and I are both Generation X, right? We're born after 1964. And the boomers, 64 to 46, they are now transferring wealth to a degree that hasn't been seen in mankind. Since World War II, 1946, 1964, meaning that in 2011, the first boomers started turning 65. And the average lifespan of a man and a woman on average is about 85 years of age, give or take. We all have a grandmother who's gone deep. Every now and then we have a grandfather who goes deep. But for the most part, most people go into the mid to late 80s. So think about that. 1965, 2011. That means at 75 age, they are at 2021. That means we're now in the second half of 20 years with 9 years left on the average lifespan in Canada of the baby boomers. And that wealth is being transferred in millions of dollars and billions of dollars right now. Grandparents are helping their grandchildren buy houses. Grandparents are helping their kids buy houses, because you can't live in the neighborhood of your grandparents because it's just way too expensive. So what do you do? What do you do to invest in some of the most volatile markets we've ever seen? Since COVID, March 2020 till now, the stock market has made money for some people and lost a lot of money for a lot of people. And what we're trying to do is trying to give you an idea of what you can do to protect yourself from these down markets and benefit from from the markets when they start to go in the right direction for growth. So they're really two states, and there's people on here who no. Go ahead.
I'm going to halt you just for a minute, do a quick reset here. We are on Financial First Fridays with Wayne Harris on the Morning Vibe. We're talking about Investment 101. I want to just just catch up with the comments because I don't want them to lag for too long.
Sure.
So Frequency of Promotion says income properties galore.
Mm-hmm.
Live lending. Canada needs privatized banking like the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Frequency Event Provider says investment is surpassing financial expectations to teach, support, and repeat. Let me see. Fitness IQ Camp says, I've been suggesting that too because they have the habit to save. Well, let's get that habit to invest.
Mm-hmm.
And then also from the Facebook page, Heather Harris is saying, what is she saying? Self-investment, always the first step. And also saying that money in stock. So a lot of people are engaged today. So you've got a captive ear. So I just wanted to catch up. Continue on, sir.
Love it, love it, love it. No, it makes sense. Listen, I love our culture, and we are the forebearers of many, many things that the world doesn't give us credit for today. And the ability to save is something that we've learned from our grandmothers to say, listen, always walk with a little money. Don't go out there on the street and don't have a little money in your pocket, right? And the things that our parents would tell us. Well, one of the things that our parents told us is you should save money. The credit cards are a very recent phenomenon. They've only been around for like 50, 60 years. It hasn't been around from time. So people are used to credit today and used to debt today. Did you know that for every dollar, oops, my light just fell. For every dollar you have in earnings, it takes $1.71 to get out of debt. It used to be $1.67, used to be $1.50, right?
Wow.
$1.71 for every dollar you earn.
Oh, geez.
That's Canada.
Wow.
Right? That's a lot of debt. So people are out there scrambling because they're living above their means. The keeping up with the Joneses is becoming a big, big problem because people used to be able to keep up with the Joneses back in the day, but you can't today. You don't know how someone's financing that BMW. You don't know how someone's buying that house, right? So from an investment perspective, the first thing you need to do is they say, pay yourself first. Everybody out there is paying their mobile phone bill. They're paying their rent. They're paying their mortgage. They're paying their car payment. They're paying for whatever they bought. Don't pay a cent event. They have those things for people to sit on and to watch.
Or back in our day, ho, 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 the payments.
Correct. Ho, ho, hold it. Listen, the Americans are like, what are you guys talking about? We need to ensure that we pay ourselves first. Who's most important? You are, not your mortgage company and not your car company. You're most important. So you need to break off something for yourself first. So investing 101 is pay yourself first. Once you paid yourself, let everybody else take care of business. Because trust me when I tell you, they're not going to take care of you.
No.
If you don't take care of yourself. Right?
Very,
so I see people, they have all their bills automated. I got this automated. I got that automated. I'm statement free. Nobody's mailing stuff to me. I'm doing everything online. That's fantastic. But what do you have going into your savings? So the Americans have 401ks. We have RRSPs. The Americans have Roth IRAs. We have tax-free savings accounts. Okay. The Americans have non-registered investments where they can go and do what they want with their money and get taxed. And we have non-registered investments, so we can go out and get taxed. Couple of things you can do. One, you have to understand that there's a difference between an equity, which is like a stock. You're buying a piece of something, a company. There's debt, like a bond, where it's a promise that they're gonna pay you back. You lend them the money, they're gonna pay you back. All right. And then there's something called crypto. And my son is in the other room. I'm going to talk about that, but I'll give you a chance to check the comments.
No problem. I just want to catch up here. And Live Lending Group, please subscribe. You got some great comments. Canadian banking system is an antiquated institution that needs to be reformed. They rely strongly on AI tech. Our fintech lenders utilize to keep their bad debt at 3%. The bank is 26%. DJ Damgere, I'm here for all the gens. Mr. Harris is a body of knowledge. Live lending group. Visa sent $100 to everyone in America when they first came out. LOL.
Right. It's kind of the same way that they dropped crack cocaine into the inner cities.
Of
right?
course. Yes. War on drugs. Yes.
Right. The dealer will always give you your first sample for free because you're going to get hooked and addicted. And we're addicted to debt and we're addicted to credit. But people don't seem to understand what that means. When our grandparents said, if I don't have the money, I do not buy it. They would put dresses on layaway for 6 months to a year and give payments every month when they got paid so that when Easter Sunday came out, they could show out on Easter Sunday or Christmas or whatever they were saving for. They learned this forced savings. When they were giving that money to the retailer wasn't giving them any interest. He was just taking their money and having the dress in the back and saying, when you're ready, it'll be there, while he or she was investing their money.
Right.
It's the same thing people do. Just the other day, I was talking to someone and they had a prepaid funeral. I said, do you know when you're going to die? And they said, no. I said, so what you're going to do is you're going to give this funeral home your money every month for every year. You don't know. It's going to get paid off at some point, but you don't know what the funeral is going to cost 10, 20, 30, 40 years in the future. Do you think based on inflation in Canada today at 7.6%, I'm not saying it's going to stay at 7.6. On average, since the 1960s, it's been about 3%. But even at 3% inflation, $25,000 in 2022 will not be $25,000 in 2062.
That's right.
Right. So you're losing money. They're using your money to invest for the next 30 years, and they're going to give you back a deflated amount, and then you're going to have to top it up with dollars 40 years from now. Doesn't make sense. What if you had a mechanism where you could have money that would grow every year, inflation protected, and whenever that day came, you just take the money tax free and go take care of business. And those are some of the mechanisms that I have available to me. Shout me out or DM me. So getting back to investing. In Canada, I'm speaking to Canada because that's where I'm licensed. We have 3 buckets that you can invest in, really. You have RSPs, Registered Retirement Savings Plans. And what that is it gives you the ability to take money and shelter it away from tax for a period of time and reduce your taxable income. So you put the money in the RSP, it will reduce your taxable income based on your marginal tax bracket. So if you are in a 50% tax bracket, you put $1,000 into RSP, it will give you back $500 in tax deduction, which is fantastic. But if you're in a 23% tax bracket, you put $1,000 in, you only get back $230. So really have to talk to your accountant to see if it makes sense to put $1,000 in to get $230 back. The higher your income, the more the RRSP makes sense. For me, rule of thumb, about 80K, right? Unless you're going to use the RRSP for the first-time buyers program, which the government of Canada allows you up to $35,000 in your RSP that you can use tax-free to put against a house, and you have 15 years to pay back 1/15 every year for 15 years back into the RSP, and you will not pay any tax. Okay?
There you go. Word Wayne.
That's my sister. Shout out to my sister, Dr. Heather Harris at Stevenson University in Baltimore, Maryland. Shout out to
Be More. Yes, Be More. Got a strong Be More contingent on this platform. Welcome.
There you go.
I got questions for you, but I'm going to leave them to the end because I want you to keep your focus here. But I have 2 or 3 questions for you, maybe a little bit outside of this, but are related to the investment, especially in regards to home buyers, right, or homeowners right now. So I'll let you continue.
Okay. So again, the RSP makes sense for everybody if you want to use it for the home buyers program. There are a number of other programs that are out with the federal government. Trudeau came in with some things to sweeten the pot to get reelected, and you should look into those things if you want to buy a house. The key to buying the house is the down payment and your credit. We'll talk about credit in another session, I'm sure in the near future. But the better your credit, if you know your credit score goes between 0 and 900, if you can get that thing north of 800, you're gold. North of 700 is also gold. Once you start going below 700, things get a little bit more expensive for you. So bucket number one, RSP. Bucket number two, tax-free saving account, invented by Stephen Harper in 2009. And the tax-free savings account is basically this. You take money that has already been taxed and you put it into the tax-free savings account, and you have an allocation of how much you can put in every year. Once that money is in that account, that money and all the money it earns in the tax-free savings account is tax-free for life. I'll repeat that. Every penny that has already been taxed is put in the tax-free savings account, and you can invest in pretty much anything in the tax-free savings account. The money you put in there and the money that you earn on it is tax-free forever. Stephen Harper had various allotments, $5,000, $11,000, $5,500. Now it's $6,000. But the bottom line is, if you were 18 years old in 2009, today in 2022, you have the ability to put $81,500 into that account, and no one's going to bat an eye. No one's going to bat an eye, and everything you put in there will make money for you for the rest of your life. Now, here's a caveat.
Yeah.
Not all tax-free savings accounts are created equal. Some are almost like Susu Partner and Meeting. They make very little money. And some make very, very good money. You need to know what you're in. And you need to know what the succession plan is for the tax-free savings account, because some will not allow you to name a beneficiary. And what that means is, if you can't name a beneficiary, the tax-free savings account is going to become a part of your estate. And if it becomes a part of your estate, it's subject to probate, which is a tax from the government for the privilege of dying in the province you're in. In Ontario, it happens to be 1.5%. And let's say you have $1 million in there, you're going to pay $15,000 in probate just for the pleasure of being an Ontarian when you die anywhere in the world.
Wow,
that doesn't make any sense. So there are ways to have named beneficiaries where you will not pay any tax, you will not be subject to probate. Creditors won't even know that your beneficiaries received the money, and it's all tax-free. DM me to get that information when my information is shown on the screen. So for those of you who have a TFSA that is not doing well or don't have one today, definitely want to get together with me, because I will show you what you can do to keep that out of the hands of the governments that want it. But I think your family is more important, and they should get the money, not the federal and provincial governments of Canada. Now, the last bucket is non-registered. This means it has nothing to do with the government. RSP is a government program. TFSA is a government program. This is non-registered, which means that the government has nothing to do with it. You can pretty much do what you like here. This is where people will have their crypto, people will have their gold, people will have their silver, people will have their stocks and bonds in a non-registered account. You can put some of those things in a tax-free savings account and RSP, but the non-registered account gives you flexibility. It also will incur taxes on an annual basis. So you have to watch. I would exhaust the TFSA and the RSP options before I look at non-registered, because why have it unprotected unless you need the flexibility to use it? Does that make sense? Okay. Any questions in the chat or any comments?
Yeah, I do have I was actually just going to type it out and share it out there. Please ask a question. But first of all, Live Lending Group goes, Baltimore, Maryland. Is GoGo still a thing there? I'm sure it is. Live says also, this is actually amazing advice, but also question, these guys have found a way to a tax-free saving account. How is a TFSA that can't have a beneficiary and subject to probate should be called a conditional TFSA?
I like it. Live Lending, great comment. So let me tell you, Stephen Harper wanted to call it the tax-free investing account. Tax-free investing account. But people were balking. Why? Because when you say investing, you're thinking long-term, right? When you eat right, you're thinking to eat right for the rest of your life. When you start saving, you're trying to save for the rest of your life. When you try to cut your costs and lower your cost of living, you're trying to do it for the rest of your life. So investing meant that the money would not be in circulation. If the money's not in circulation, there's no consumerism. If there's no consumerism, there's no economy. If there's no economy, recessions happen. So they were lobbied to call it a tax-free savings account. So you think of it more as a checking account than an investing account for long-term. Set it and forget it. And that's why it's a savings account. The banks, if you put the money in a tax-free savings account and an RSP with a bank, when you pass, you will pay tax. If you put the RSP and TFSA with an insurance company, you will bypass probate, bypass tax, bypass creditors. So the banks advertise on TV, the insurance companies not so much. So you learn about TFSAs and RSPs from the banks, and therefore your money defaults to them because that's what's top of mind to you. But for those who know, there's something called a segregated fund. And the segregated fund is, I'm in Quebec, a separatist province, right? But I'll mind my manners. Segregated means your money is segregated from your estate. Segregated. So we want the segregated fund to be in place for you because mutual funds are taxable upon your demise. Segregated funds are not. The returns on the mutual fund and a segregated fund are about the same, but the fees usually for a segregated fund are slightly higher than a mutual fund, usually about 0.3% higher than a mutual fund. And for young people, mutual funds are fine. If you live into your 80s, it's fine. But right around 40 or 50 or 60, you need to start looking at the long game. And the long game means you should be looking at mutual funds moving to segregated funds so you can preserve your assets. Everybody's worried about asset accumulation. How do I make money? What's the best investment? How do I make money? How do I get better returns? I'm making 3% here. Can I get 4% there? I'm making 5% here. Can I get 8% there? Asset accumulation is what all people talk about. But those who know it's not about asset accumulation only. It's about asset preservation, about what's left after death, after inflation, after taxes, what's actually going to your family. Because what are you doing it for if not for yourself and your family for the long term? So generational wealth that is taxed is substantially less than generational wealth that is taxed. And you can go online and find any calculator that you want that will show you what your investment will look like without tax and what your investment will look like even at a 30% tax bracket. It's night and day. It goes from millions of dollars to tens of thousands of dollars when you compound tax. Comments, go.
All right. Yeah, you're on fire. So Joy Plata says, awesome. Oh, Fitnance IQ Cam. Wow, not being able to put a beneficiary on your TFSA. I guess they'll remember the new fan club. Seg funds lock in twice a year, right? That's kind of a question. That's a question for you.
Yeah, seg funds will lock in usually once a year, and some are automatic, and there may be products out there that will lock in multiple times a year. But basically, what they're asking you as the investor to do is take personal responsibility. And when you see, let's say you put $100,000 in, and it goes to $120,000, you have something called a reset, and a reset means that the guarantee. There's two guarantees with a segregated fund. Guarantee number one is at maturity, usually a 15-year contract. At the end of 15 years, you can't lose more than 25% of your original investment. So imagine, Black people, you have an institution that says you can't lose more than 25% of your money, right? Guaranteed. But it gives you the ability, that's the downside protection, right? And second guarantee, that's maturity. Second guarantee is if you die, we will give your beneficiary 100% of what you invested.
That's gold.
Regardless of what the market is at. So think about that. March of 2020, people got a 50-60% haircut. But if that person had a stroke or a heart attack and died, their family would get the $100,000, not the $40,000 that was showing in the account.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But there's something called, one last point before we go to the questions. There's something called the reset. And the reset gives you the ability to reset your number from your original investment. So if you gave me $100,000 and I put it in the market and it goes to 110, you get one reset a year. You say, wait, I don't think it's going to go higher than 110 this year. Please lock my new number in at 110. So that means your contract guarantee is now 75% of 110, not 75% of 100. So you can get more money at the end of the contract, and the contract's not moving. Some seg funds, every time you make a deposit, it pushes the 15-year window out a month by that deposit. But there's a couple of companies out there that when you start the contract in September 2nd, 2022, it's a 15-year contract to 2037, and that 15 years doesn't change. It's amazing. So what you can do is to reset now, 2 years from now, 2024, 100,000 that you gave me in 2022 is now $130,000. You reset to 130. Now you get a guarantee of 75% of 130 at the end of 15 years. And if you pass away, you get the 130 or the market value, whichever one is higher. Tax-free, creditor protected, bypassing probate. Go.
Wow. Always like to be open with people. Very rare that when we do a morning vibe or whenever I do anything online, during the conversation, the amount of viewers go up. And over the last 5 minutes, it's gone up, 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 and the comments are getting better and better and better. So
let's go.
So Live Lending Group is saying this guy is dropping serious gems. Seg funds alone is one of those loophole secrets they try to keep from us. Also says this is gold. Person we both know for a while, Mark Lewis, says good morning, family. And also we got some questions here. So let me go to McMillan Group. Good morning, gentlemen. What kind of tax implications are there if transferring non-reg mutual fund portfolio to seg funds? And is it always a prudent move for 6- and 7-figure portfolios?
Okay, great question. First of all, it depends on the fees of where you are. So there are multiple fees in the fund business. We'll start with the first one. They call it no load. No load means there's no fee for you to move your money. So if you have a no load fund, fantastic. You can move the money and there's no cost to you. Then there's something called low load. And low load is a 3-year fee that goes from maybe 2% penalty if you move it after the first year to 1% to 0.5% to 0. So if you keep it in longer than 3 years, low load, there's no fee. It's just like a no load. But if you move it before 3 years, you're going to pay a penalty. There's something that is going away that has been around for many, many years called D Delta Sierra Charlie, DSC. And DSC is deferred sales charge. And deferred sales charge is a 7-year fee reduction, starting as high as 5.5 penalty to move your money out. So if you have $100,000, you pay $5,500 to move it in the first year just to move your money. So 5.5, 5, 4.5, 4, and it'll keep going down until 7 years is over, and then you move your money. So people are paying fees, and investors or advisors will try to put you in a DSC. That was the move because they get paid the most when you go into a deferred sales charge. So they'll put you in a DSC. But in order to do that, they have to know your investment time horizon. And your investment time horizon means, do you need the money now to buy a house in 12 months? No load. Any advisor who puts you in anything other than no load, if you're looking to buy a house in the next 12 to 18 months, is not your best. It's not looking in your best interest. 2, low load. You said to me, when do you need the money? I don't need the money for 10 years. So I could put you in a low load or a deferred sales charge because you say you don't need the money for 10 to 15 years. So a 7-year fee structure doesn't matter if you don't need the money for 15 years, because in 15 years, there'll be no fees. So that's why people put you into those fees. It's better for the advisor because they make more money, and you won't incur any fees if you keep your word and don't need the money. But if you don't understand the fees and you move it before it's going to be 0 fees to you, you're going to pay money to move your own money. So to the question, what's your fee structure and what year are you in? You can call your institution and say, hey, listen, if I want to move this money, what's the penalty? And there's always a penalty. What is it? Sometimes you'll find that in the credit unions and in some investments, you've passed the point of no return and there will be no fee to move it. And at that point, you can DM me and we can see what it is to move it across. If we're moving it from trustee, fiduciary trustee A, institution you're with, to trustee B, there is no tax because it's going trustee to trustee and it doesn't touch your hands. I'm not an accountant, so talk to your tax advisor. But what I know to be true is that when you move it from A to B and it doesn't touch your hands, it's not income, so it's not income taxed. Go ahead, Vibe.
No problem. I don't know if you can do this personally, but Hayden Morgan, is there a seg fund or top type of seg fund that you'd recommend?
Nice. Thanks, Hayden. Great question. The key to the seg fund is doing your due diligence, right? If you want to drive from Toronto to Montreal, you need to know the roads and how to get there. I use Waze. Waze is great. It tells me where the police are. Shh, don't worry about that. So you need to know what your requirements are. So I do something called an investor profile, and I'll ask you what your investment knowledge is. I'll ask you what your goals are. I'll ask you what your risk tolerance is, and if the market dropped by 20%, are you going to freak out and come to choke me at my house, or do you understand volatility and you don't need the money for 15 years? And so a big drop in 2 years, last 2 years has been a big drop. I'm not freaking out because I don't need my money now. I'll need my money in 10 years. So I'm not freaking out today. So Hayden, the best answer for that is it depends on what you need the money for and when you need the money and what your risk tolerance is and what your knowledge of investing is. And we can do that. It takes about 20 minutes for us to go through the questions, and you will see what type of investor you are. And based on that, it will have a ranking from super conservative to super aggressive. And once I know where you are, I'll show you what the best ones are based on Morningstar ratings.
Excellent. Naked Property with Osai says, Wayne, I need you to help me set it and forget it. So yes. So I'm going to put his contact information up on the screen again. There's his email, there's his Instagram, there's his Twitter. And people, you're getting some serious knowledge bombs here. And a lot of things that people, for whatever reason, don't want to tell you or are not telling you.
Right. No, 100% Vibe. Listen, I work with people of all races, and yep. I try not to prejudge. But when I meet with certain people from certain cultures and I do the investor profile, what I get back is super, super, super conservative. Basically, Wayne, I want my money to work like Susu, right? I do not want to lose any money. And if I lose money, I'm coming for you. Do not put my money in harm's way. And I'm like, well, that ties my hands on what I can do for you from a return perspective. But if that's what you want, that's great. I want you to understand, everybody who is watching me right now, I want you to go to your phone, go to Google, and ask Google what the rate of inflation is for Canada right now. What's the rate of inflation in Canada for 2022? I'll give you 15 seconds. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Post it. What do you see, Vibe?
Say it, but I also post it. It is 7.6% right now.
Fantastic. 7.6%. All right. The highest has been in Canada was 8.1 in 1981. We're almost there. And we may get there because the Bank of Canada is about to do some things that are going to hurt some people in the next couple of days.
Of course, because they're going to follow the U.S. Fed.
Correct. So let me ask you this. What do you have in your portfolio that's out earning the rate of inflation? First question. What do you have that's out earning the rate of inflation? Second question is, if Susu doesn't give you anything, how's that working for you? 7.6% to break even. You need to make more than 7.6% to make any money. So to make 1 or 2 or 3%, you need to be making 10.6% on your money to make 3% real rate of return after inflation is considered. So what does that mean? It means that most people who have their money in the bank are just giving the bank their money, and the bank is out there making its money with your money, but you're not making any money.
Mm-hmm.
So what do? We need to look at your investor profile and look at your risk tolerance and why your risk tolerance is so low. Most people, when I ask the question, say, what's your knowledge on investing? They say novice. And that's why they're conservative. They say, if I don't know, I'm going to go as conservative as possible, which is probably why I do Susu and partner in meeting. And again, not a bad thing to do for saving, forced saving, but not a good thing to do because it's being eaten by inflation to the tune of 7.6%.
Yeah.
Right? So we need to make more than the rate of inflation at a risk tolerance that you can sleep at night. And that's the art and science of being a financial advisor, where I'm helping you make those decisions, but I'm showing you some of the safeguards that you're unaware of, so you can raise your risk tolerance knowing that you have the ability to recover. And that's why someone who is 65 years old doesn't get invested in something that's 25 years old, or they shouldn't be, because a 65-year-old has less time to recover, whereas a 25-year-old has much more time to recover. I want you to think about a snowball. Well, I'll let you go to the question.
Yeah, another question here from Hayden Morrison. Good question. Can parents set up seg funds for their children to pass on wealth?
Fantastic question. Parents can not do seg funds for your children because you need to be 18 years old, but there are other mechanisms you can do to set up trustee accounts for your kids so they can earn non-secured returns. And the reason they're non-secured is because you have to be 18 for RSP, you have to be 18 for a TFSA. So it has to be non-secured. But because the child is only making money at a lemonade stand, they're not paying any taxes because they didn't earn any income. So it's as if it's a tax-free savings account because they don't have any real money coming in, if that answers the question.
Yeah.
Good
Sophia says for the 7.6% too high. Yeah, it is, but I think it's going to stay like that for a while.
Yeah, we're about to experience a Christmas that we haven't seen since the early 80s. And this is why our parents are very hot on things like Canada savings bonds and these kind of things. Why? Because back in the day, in the 70s and 80s, interest rates were high. So you were making on a Canada savings bond 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13%. Of course you want the Canada savings bond. But why? But today, they don't even exist. Canada savings bonds don't exist. You can't even get one if you wanted one. Why? Because the interest rates were so low, they were no good. The only ones I see are the State of Israel bonds that are out there, and they're paying 3, 4, 5%. And that was good when inflation was 2, 3%. But now inflation is 7.6. That means one of those Israeli bonds has to pay north of 7.6 in order for it to make sense. So all of us are underwater. I won't say all of us. Many of us are underwater because we do not understand the financial markets by design. And then we go into the most conservative investments, savings account earning 2%, 1.8% at Tangerine or one of these things. We think we're doing well. If inflation was zero, but inflation is 7.6%. So I've seen GICs as high as 4.5%, which is amazing for a 5-year GIC. But inflation's at 7.6. So if you have some of your money, say, listen, these high interest rates at 4.5 may not be around forever. I'm going to take some of my money and put it into that, knowing that 5 years from now, inflation is going to go back to 2, 3%, and I'll be making 1.5%, and I'm good, and it's guaranteed. Might be an idea. We can talk about it, but it can't be all of your portfolio. It has to be a portion of your portfolio. I'll let you go back to the question in the chat.
Yeah, I know we're starting to wind down with time, so I'll just ask your opinion on something here.
Mm-hmm.
For people who own homes who are having a variable interest rate, would you suggest them to lock in or continue with a variable interest rate?
Wow, great question. Yeah, that's the standard question is it depends.
Okay.
If they have a variable rate, all right, you have something in this country called a stress test. The stress test has to be north of 5%. So if you know that you can handle 4, 5, 6% and still be able to pay your mortgage, then stay variable because it will come back to a lower rate at some point in time. But if you know you cannot handle another point increase, you get a fixed mortgage. So you can predict what your expenses are going to be over the next 5 years. You know, listen, this is going to be 3.5, and 3.5 hurts because a couple of years ago I had 1.5 or 2.
Yeah.
Now I'm at 3.5. But you know what? If this thing goes to 7, I don't have to worry about it because I know by the time I get out of this 5-year, the market should be, the inflation should be back down to what we're used to, 2, 3%.
Right.
So locking in or not locking in is really dependent on your income and your risk tolerance. If you believe that you're going to make more money in the future and your industry is so strong that you really can't be hurt by a couple of points and you'll be able to make more money, stay with variable. I haven't had a fixed mortgage since 1996. I go variable because if I need more money, I'll just make more money.
There you go.
But some people can't do that.
Got it.
Right.
Good question coming up from the Mill Group. And one of the things I got to have you to meet, because I just want to sit back and hear the knowledge bombs from the real estate side and the financial side. So Ray asks, would Susu partner be the basis of group economics for centuries? Have you seen many investment clubs among Black Canadians that allow pooling of resources and faster and larger growth? Good question.
Good question. Yeah, I've seen a few of those. There are a number of them here in Toronto, and I know that they're popping up all over the place. Really, what it comes down to is mindset. You really need to have people who have a mindset to think strategically and long term. And everybody around the table brings different things to the table, and they get together and they choose. We want a house. I can't do it on my own. I have 25K. Vibe, you can't do it on your own. You have 25K. The McMillan Group can't do it because he only has 25K. But the three of us together have 75K. We can go buy a house. And we can just get a lawyer, split ownership, decide what we're going to do together, because the agreement and the contract between us as investors is what most people are afraid of. There's a trust issue.
Trauma.
So if we can fix the trust issue through the contract, then everybody understands their exposure. Everybody's fully transparent. Then we can run. You see, there's something called business at the speed of trust. The lower the trust, the slower you go. The higher the trust, the faster you go.
Bingo.
Other communities have higher trust than we do among themselves, so they move faster. That's why we have Bathurst, which is a Jewish area, because you have to be able to walk to the synagogue. We have the Danforth, which is the Greek area. We have Little Italy, and we have Vaughan Woodbridge. We have Chinatown. Right. So where's Blacktown? Please put it in the ways and tell me where Blacktown is.
Well, see, that goes along, and Ryan and I always have this pushback. He says, I don't think there. I say, Ryan, where's the Black community?
Right.
I think there's neighborhoods.
Right.
But I don't think there's a community. So here we go. Another question. Sophia says, if you're not able to handle taking a risk, that in itself is risky. Right, Wayne?
Listen, getting up this morning was a risk. Going to the bathroom and taking a shower was a risk. And driving to Montreal is a risk. There's always going to be risk. There's risk for upside and risk for downside. You have to decide what the risk is for you and move. Here's what I don't want people doing. I don't want to make decisions without information. Because if you make decisions without information, I mean, you could win. But if you have a criteria on what it takes to win and you follow the criteria, you're going to do better than somebody who doesn't, right? I want you to think about something. I want you to think about the rule of 72, right? The rule of 72. If you know about the rule of 72, shout out in the chat. Say, I know the rule of 72. Tell me what it is in the chat, please.
Yeah, who wants to know about the rule of 72?
The rule of 72.
There's a few in here, so we'd like to get at least one yes.
If you heard about it before, just raise your hand, give a thumbs up.
Or if you've heard about it before, I'm having a feeling that most people haven't, so roll with it.
So the rule of 72 is simply this. It was popularized by Einstein, but not invented by him. And basically what it says, if you take 72 and divide it by the rate of return, 72 divided by the rate of return, it will give you how long it's going to take for the money to double. So let's say you have a 10% interest rate. 72 divided by 10 means it's going to take 7.2 years for your money to double. If you have a 1% interest rate at your local bank, you're going to take 72 years. 72 divided by 1 is 72 years for your money to double. Vibe, you look good, but I don't think you got 72 years.
No.
Right? So imagine you look at your savings account. Everybody can go to their phone and look at the savings account and see what it's paying. It's probably paying 0.5%. 72 divided by 0.5 is 144 years for your money to double. So that's money working for you. So if you have an investment and it's earning 10%, it'll double in 7.2 years. But think about this. Think about a credit card at 19.9%. Rule of 72 works against you as well. So 72 divided by 19.9 is about 3.5 years. The money doubles against you. If you're paying minimum payments, you will pay those for the rest of your life. So if 7.6% inflation, people are crying, If 5% interest rate on a mortgage, people are crying. Yet every day they go to the Bay and light up that credit card at 19.9. Oh, I'm at Avion or TD Travel or a WestJet, 21.9. Or I have some other card, 24.9. But I get points. 24.9, right? And then I'm not even going to talk about the easy cash money and all those things that are paying 30, 40, and 50%. I saw someone come to me. They had a car loan from one of these secondary lenders, 29% for the car.
What?
29% interest on it.
What?
I was paying 4.9 a couple of years ago, and I was crying. Like, what? 4.9? What? I'm 0% financing. First of all, you shouldn't be buying a new car, but that's another thing on this.
That's another conversation. Yeah.
Another conversation for another day. But 29. She said I needed a car. I said no one needs a car that badly.
Did she say she also need to be robbed?
One guy, he was paying 15%. He was paying $700 a month for a 10-year-old BMW because he wanted a BMW, but his credit was broken. So when we have our credit, maybe I'll do credit next month. But
yeah, I think, yeah.
Right?
I think let me go to some comments because they're again flying in. Ray saying there was no ownership in Blacktown and the transit development destroyed it. Tenants don't build strong communities. Jiggy knows about the rule of 72. Bang. Sophia, thumbs up. Fit Nance, yes, I know the rule of 72. Question here from Charles on LinkedIn. Sometimes it's difficult to get the right investment consultant and some charge too much to use them. What's your advice on this? I'd say go see Wayne. That's my advice.
I love all the letters that he has behind his name, Masters in Philosophy, and he's obviously in human resources. Let me tell you this, Charles, that your outcomes are based on your setting up your criteria for what success means to you. The advisor doesn't determine what success is for you. The advisor puts you in position based on what you believe success is for you. So as an advisor, I have two ears and one mouth. I do less talking. I do more listening. I get listening from asking questions of my clients and my prospective clients. I say, what is it you want? What are we saving for? Are we saving for vacation so we can go to the DR? Are we saving to build a school in Africa? Are we saving to help a hospital in Barbados? What are we saving for? What are we investing for? Do we want to work till we die, or do we have an age and an income that we're looking for to be able to say, I don't want to do that for anybody else. I want to do this for myself. What age do I need? How much money do I need? When can I get that done? And we build a plan for that. So everything happens twice, maybe 3 times in life. Once, it happens in your head. You think about it. Next thing it happens is you write it down. And then the third thing that happens is you actually go out and do it.
Take action.
Right?
Yep.
So let's step back to what is the plan? What is it you want? And once we have that determination, then I can use my mechanisms and tools and resources to put you in position to win at your level for what you want.
Good stuff. Sophia says, Charles Creppy, contacting Wayne is a solution to that question. So I'm not even saying it. One of the viewers is saying it. So there you go. And FitNats IQ Cam says, no way, 29%. Yeah, that's what's going on out there.
Yes, 100%. So the other way that you can look at, someone asked a question about, the markets are really crazy out there. And, should I get out? Should I get in? What should I get in? What should I do? Listen, there's a little secret called dollar cost averaging. And if you don't know what dollar cost averaging is rather than giving me $100,000 and say, put it in the market and do magic, Wayne, you're the magic man, you're a magician. What I'll do is I'll take your $100,000, but I'll put the $100,000 into a money market and I'll drip it into the investments you want on a weekly basis. So pull it from where it's making no money or losing money, bring it across, put it into a money market where it can't lose money, and then drip that money market money into the actual funds that you want, a balanced portfolio. So what does a balanced portfolio mean? It means I'm going to have some stock, I'm going to have some bonds, I'm going to have some fixed income, I'm going to have some equity, I'm going to mix and match. I'm going to have some in Canada, I'm going to have some in the US, I'm going to have some around the world, I'm going to have some in gold, maybe some in banks, maybe some in tech, maybe some in consumer good. I'm going to mix and match by sector, by geolocation, and by your temperament for risk. And we drip it in. So that way we're not timing the market. No one can time the market. When will it come back? I don't know. Because if I knew, I wouldn't be on Dr. Vibe show. I'd be out making the money.
Yep.
So if no one knows, let's drip, bring it across, get it out of harm's way, put it in the money market, can't lose money, making a little bit of money, but not a lot, and then drip it into the market. And dollar cost averaging has proven over time to be one of the most effective ways to de-risk your portfolio, because you're buying good stuff at a cheaper price. If Nikes are on sale, you don't buy one, you buy two.
Hey, look, us people with big foot,
Right.
when you see a shoe you like and there's two of them, you buy them then and there because you know there's not a lot of them around, right?
100%.
So because I tell people one of the most challenging things, I don't have to do with it as much now, when I was back in the past, was finding shoes that fit me.
Correct.
And when I found a pair of shoes that fit me, if there were two, them gone.
Right.
Them
Exactly.
gone.
So let's understand who you are, what you want, what you know, close those gaps, and then show you what's available at your level, for your time horizon, for your level of risk. And good things will happen over time, because what you have to do, and there are very few have-tos in life, but one of the have-tos in life is you have to leave the money to let it compound.
Patience.
Compounding takes time.
Yeah.
And it takes a long time. Warren Buffett makes more money on the compounding of the decisions he made years ago, because he started investing at the age of 10. He's in his 80s. 74 years of compounding, because he buys and he keeps it. He sets it and forgets it for the most part. So imagine a baby is zero years old. The baby has today, a baby should live to 100 years old. That's 100 years of compounding if you start now. Yeah. Some of us are only compounding. We're in our 30s and our 40s. You're starting now. You left 30 years. My son is 24 years old. He's in the other room. He's Jiggy on here. So if you see any comments from Jiggy, right, it's next gen, the third generation Harris on there. So Jiggy has a degree in computer science and a minor in economics. And he's leveraging that, and he's out there doing his investments. He's doing some with me, but he's doing a lot on his own, and he's winning. He goes, Dad, Air Canada's like 20 cents. I said, pick it up.
Pick it up, buy low, and hold on to it.
He said, He goes, Dad, Enbridge, oil's going to go up because of what's going on with the pandemic. I said, pick it up. Listen, this guy, he's running his portfolio, and he's 24. Buddy, I was in the club just buying Heinekens trying to impress people. I was not investing in stock.
Yeah.
So
buy low and hold on to it. Hold on to it.
Exactly.
We'll do one more question. Sophia says, do you have to wait till 65 or 75 to retire working at paid checkers? Is that the only option? I think, again, you answered a question a few minutes ago. I think you need to contact Wayne on that one. But Wayne, if you want to do a short answer to that right now, you're more than happy to.
100%. Everybody has a number. And one of the things I do is a financial needs analysis to determine what your number is. And I'll show you what you need to do to get to that number. Once you're at that number, if you're 35, you're done. If you're 55, you're done. If you're 85, you're done. Once you know what it is you need to live on, and you can have that money coming in without you having to get out of bed to get it, you can stop doing what you're doing. The question is, what's mandatory for you to survive and what's discretionary? Do you need a car? Or do you need a Tesla? Do you need a place to stay, or do you need a 4-bedroom home? What is it you want versus what it is you need? And how do we manage the pull between those two? And once we have that determination, then we work together to get you there. And people retire in their 20s. If all they need is $2,000 and they inherited $100,000 and it's kicking off 6%, it's $6,000 a year, and they say they can go to Thailand and live on that, $500 a month, they're done.
Yeah.
Right? And they'll never touch 100,000. So it really depends on you. And that's why individual personal financial solution is what I do for everyone who is on this call. You can reach out to me and I will do that for you, everything in complete confidence and privacy. Yeah. And hey, if you like it, let's do it. If you don't like it, go take the information, the input that I've given you and the output, and go with somebody else that you feel more comfortable with. I'm not for everybody, but I'm for most people.
Yeah. And you don't want to be for everybody.
Facts.
You don't know. You need the right people. You don't need everybody.
Facts.
Absolutely. And one last thing, Sophia says Tesla time to pick that up.
If that's what you want. I was talking to my son last night about EVs and a little bit of the market okey doke, because using fossil fuels to generate batteries to run EVs is kind of counterintuitive,
yeah,
and non-sustainable. There are a lot of people working in a lot of countries digging holes to find resources to make batteries.
Actually, just interrupt. There's rumor that they're going to be opening up a big battery plant, Tesla, in Quebec.
Heard that. So the game, according to sources I talked to, is the next generation of non-fossil fuel, and that's going to be hydrogen. And the cars are going to have hydrogen fuel cells, which means this whole battery thing is temporary. Maybe the next 15, 20 years, and then hydrogen takes over. And hydrogen's, you know what the exhaust of a hydrogen car is? Water. Water. The fuel cell, the exhaust is water. So that's next generation. So yes, Tesla, and yes, all this now, but this is an interim solution for the end game, which probably will be the hydrogen fuel cell.
Excellent. Sophia says, good point. There you go. Mr. Harris, as always, thank you for taking the time, even though you're not at home base in the GTA, you're in the Montreal area, Quebec area, and thank you so much for taking time. And people, his contact information is there. I know some people reached out to him last time.
Yes.
We're speaking that some people will reach out to him again. Please and thank you. And looking forward to having you back. And we may have to talk about credit next month.
All day. Let's do it. Listen, I'm excited. Everybody have a great and safe long weekend. Listen, it's almost Long John weather out here, man. 16 degrees last time. What's going on? Summer's over so quickly.
Hold on a second. We've had a really good warm summer, man.
It's true. I won't lie. But every day I was thinking about washing my truck, it would rain. So I'm like, I got to do it today. So I'm going to do it today.
All right, Wayne. Look, thank you as always. Much love to you and your family. I'm blessed to know you for over 30 years. And people, I stand behind what this gentleman's doing from day one.
Thank you, Vibe. I appreciate you. And this is what group economics, group uplifting, group edification looks like.
Yep.
I applaud you for the platform. Thank you very much. Have a great long weekend, man.
Be well and keep the faith. All right, family. There it is. Wayne was dropping knowledge bombs. And I would suggest too also, watch the replay. Watch the replay. I would highly suggest watch the replay. Cannot miss out. There's a lot of information there that you're not going to hear probably in many places other than this platform. And Sophia Jackson wants to come on and talk about the municipal election. So reach out to me. This is why we need involvement in the political system more than there is right now. Very important. So want to say thank you to everyone who checked in today again. Ryan could not make it because he's having stuff done in his house, so the internet is down. No, it isn't a Rogers down either, by the way. It's not Rogers this time. And ironically, the first time Wayne was supposed to come on was the day that Rogers was down nationally. So just to tie that in. So just want to say you can catch replays of the Morning Vibe at the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and Facebook, Afro-Caribbean Business Network, Facebook and YouTube, and Ryan Oneil Knight on YouTube. So, and also want to encourage you, subscribe. Please subscribe to the broadcast wherever you're watching it and tell other people about it. This is a great type of content that you can, as Wayne said, take action on. Make a decision, take action. Because we're not getting any younger, and I know many people are watching live on the replay. You have a generation behind you. Why don't you do something to set them up for success? All right. So Monday, not sure if we're going to do something live or on replay. If we do something Monday, just maybe Ryan and I just kicking it and do an Ask Us Anything. But if not, we'll have a replay. So looking forward to it. So close out like this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions, aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider, love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace and make sure don't just manage your time, Manage your energy. We'll see you Monday. Bye.